Have you ever given everything to someone you love, only to be told you're not wanted anymore? Let me tell you about the worst day of my life, and how it became the beginning of my best decision ever. My name is Dorothy, and I'm 68 years old. This story happened 3 years ago, but I remember every single word like it was yesterday. I was standing in my son Michael's kitchen. His girlfriend Amanda was there too, wearing her beautiful white wedding dress. She looked at me with a fake smile and said words that felt like a punch in my stomach. The best gift you could give us is if you just left our family forever. Michael, my own son, nodded his head. He agreed with her. He wouldn't even look at me. Now, let me explain how I got to this terrible moment. 3 years before this happened, I did something I thought was kind and loving. I sold my beautiful house, the one my husband Robert and I had fixed up together with our own hands. We had painted every wall, fixed every broken thing, and made it perfect. But Robert had died, and I was alone in that big house. So when Michael said he and Amanda wanted to buy their dream home, I wanted to help. I sold my house and gave them all the money, $87,000. That's more money than some people make in 2 whole years. They promised me something important. They said, "Mom, you'll always have a place with us. Your family. This will be your home too." For 6 months, I lived in their guest room. But they never let me call it my room. It was always the guest room, because guests are supposed to leave eventually. During those months, I helped them all the time. I cooked dinners. I paid for groceries when they ran out of money. I helped fix things when they broke. I even paid some of their bills when they couldn't afford them. And now, the day before their expensive wedding, which I was paying for, Amanda decided she didn't want me around anymore. I had already spent $14,000 on their wedding reception. That's enough money to buy a small car. There would be 200 people, fancy food, flowers everywhere, and even ice sculptures shaped like swans. But Amanda complained about everything. The weather wasn't perfect. The flowers weren't exactly right. Nothing made her happy. That morning, I made one tiny suggestion. I said, "Maybe we don't need ice sculptures shaped like swans." That's when Amanda exploded at me. Where am I supposed to go? I asked them, trying to stay calm. Amanda looked at her fingernails like she was bored. "I don't know. A hotel? Your sister's house? I don't care where you go, Dorothy. Just be gone by tomorrow." "This is my son's house too," I reminded her. Michael cleared his throat. "Actually, Mum, it's more Amanda's house now. She handles all the money stuff. You just gave us some money once." "Some money once? Can you believe that? I gave them $87,000, my entire life savings, and he called it some money once." I stood there looking around the kitchen. I had helped pick out those beautiful stone countertops. My money paid for those custom cabinets. Everything in this house was possible because of me. That's when something changed inside me. I didn't get angry. I didn't cry. I just got very, very calm. "You're right," I said quietly. "I should go." I went upstairs and packed my clothes. I could hear Amanda and Michael downstairs already planning what to do with my room. Amanda wanted to make it a yoga studio. Michael thought it should be an office. Neither of them felt even a little bit bad about throwing me out. I looked at a picture of my husband Robert. We were married for 43 years, and he never once made me feel unwanted. "Don't worry, sweetheart," I whispered to his picture. "I'm not going down without a fight." I got in my car and drove away. Then I called my lawyer, Margaret Chun. She had helped me with my paperwork when Robert died. "Margaret," I said, "I need you to find all the papers about the house. All of them." "Dorothy, has something happened?" she asked. I told her everything. How Amanda told me to disappear forever. How Michael agreed with her. How they acted like my money meant nothing. Margaret was quiet while I talked. but I could hear her typing very fast on her computer. "Dorothy," she said, "do you remember signing some extra papers when you gave them the money?" My heart started beating faster. "What do you mean?" "The $87,000 wasn't a gift," Margaret explained. "Legally, it was a loan. And your name is on the deed as a co-owner. You own 35% of that house." I almost dropped my phone. "Are you serious?" "Completely serious," Margaret said. "Amanda was supposed to sign papers agreeing to this, but she never did. She kept forgetting. But the bank still has you listed as a co-owner. It's completely legal." Through the window I could see Amanda on a video call, probably talking to her mother. She was laughing and waving her hands around, totally unaware that her life was about to change completely. "Margaret," I said, "what happens if I want to sell my share of the house?" "Well, as a co-owner, you have every right to force them to sell the house," she explained. "They would get first chance to buy your share. But if they can't afford it, the house goes up for sale, and everyone splits the money based on how much they own." I watched Michael come into the kitchen. He opened a bottle of champagne. They were celebrating getting rid of me. "Margaret, I want you to prepare papers saying I intend to sell. Deliver them Monday morning." "Dorothy, are you absolutely sure?" I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Cancelling everything, but I wasn't done yet. I had one more phone call to make. "Sunset Gardens Country Club, this is Jessica speaking." "Hi Jessica, this is Dorothy Mitchell. I need to talk to your catering manager about tomorrow's wedding." "Oh, Mrs. Mitchell, the wedding is tomorrow. How can I help?" "I need to cancel the reception." There was a long pause. "Cancel? But ma'am, the wedding is in less than 24 hours. All the food is already prepared." "I understand," I said calmly. "And I'll pay all the cancellation fees. But I'm the one who signed the contract and paid the deposit. So I'm making the decision to cancel." But surely you want to talk to the bride and groom first." "No need," I said. "The happy couple made it very clear that they don't want me involved in their lives anymore. So I'm just doing what they asked." After I hung up, I checked into a hotel room. I ordered room service and watched TV. For the first time in months, I felt like I was in control of my own life. At 11:47 that night, my phone rang. "What did you do?" Amanda's voice was so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. "I honored your request," I said calmly. "You wanted me to disappear, so I disappeared. The country club called. They said you cancelled our reception. There are 200 people expecting dinner tomorrow. I'm sure you'll figure something out," I said. "Maybe McDonald's? I hear they do catering now." Amanda started crying. Loud, ugly crying that might have made me feel bad 6 months ago. Now it just sounded like a temper tantrum. "How could you do this to us?" She sobbed. "We trusted you. You trusted me." I said, "You literally told me to disappear from your family forever." Michael grabbed the phone. "Mum, please. Come back to the house and let's talk about this like adults." "The house where I'm not welcome? No, thank you." "But what about our guests? What about Amanda's family flying in from California? They can still watch you get married," I said. "They just won't get a free dinner afterward." "You're being mean and cruel," Amanda yelled. "No, sweetie. Mean and cruel was telling someone who's been paying for your dream wedding to disappear forever. I'm just being smart with my money." There was silence on the phone. Then I said something that made them really panic. "You know, without my money, you two are probably going to be broke pretty soon. That's something we should talk about." "What do you mean?" Michael's voice sounded scared now. "I mean, do you actually know how much money you spend every month compared to how much you make?" More silence. "Because I've been giving you extra money for 3 years," I continued. "The grocery money I slipped to Amanda. The utility bills I pay online. A car repairs. The insurance. The little emergencies. All of that was my money. Those were gifts. Amanda said weakly. Were they? Because from where I'm sitting, they look like an allowance. And allowances can be stopped at any time. Finally, Michael asked the right question. What do you want, Mom? That was interesting. An hour ago, they couldn't wait to get rid of me. Now they wanted to negotiate. I want exactly what you asked for, I said. I want to disappear from your family. And I want to take my money with me when I go. By Sunday morning, I had 37 missed calls and 41 text messages. I ignored all of them while I ate a nice breakfast and read the newspaper. The wedding was supposed to start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At 9 a.m., someone knocked on my hotel room door. It was Michael, wearing his wrinkled wedding shirt. He looked like he hadn't slept at all. Mom, please. We need to talk. Amanda locked herself in the bathroom and won't come out. Her mother is threatening to fly home to California. Everything is falling apart. I'm sorry to hear that, I said. I hope you work it out. Work it out? Mom, you destroyed our wedding. No, son. I just stopped paying for your wedding. There's a difference. I let him come inside. Sometimes you have to let people explain themselves, so they realize how wrong they are. This is crazy, he said. Over what? A fight about where you were sleeping. Sit down, Michael. Something in my voice made him sit. This isn't about sleeping arrangements, I said, standing while he sat. This is about respect. This is about gratitude. This is about treating the person who made your whole lifestyle possible like a human being. We've always treated you well. He protested. Have you? When's the last time you called me just to talk? When's the last time you remembered my birthday without Facebook reminding you? When's the last time you treated me like your mother instead of your personal ATM machine? He opened his mouth, then closed it again. I'll wait, I said. The silence was uncomfortable. In the past year, I continued, how much money have I given you and Amanda? I don't know. A few thousand for emergencies? $37,000. His face turned white. $37,000 in emergencies and just until we get back on our feet, I said. Plus the $87,000 for the house. That's $124,000 total, Michael. That's more than most people make in 2 entire years. We were always planning to pay you back. Were you? Because Amanda's been shopping for a new car. You've been looking at vacation trips to Europe. But neither of you has mentioned paying me back even once. He slumped forward with his head in his hands. What do you want from me, Mom? I want you to understand that I'm not a magic money machine. I want you to understand that kindness isn't unlimited. And I want you to understand that when you treat someone badly enough for long enough, eventually they stop caring about your problems. So you're punishing us by ruining our wedding. That statement that my setting boundaries was punishment proved everything I'd been feeling. No, Michael. I'm protecting myself by stopping the financial abuse. Financial abuse? That's ridiculous. Is it? I leaned forward so he had to look at me. You've taught me to believe that my only value to your family is money. You've trained me to expect tiny bits of affection in exchange for huge amounts of cash. You've made me feel guilty for having needs while you take everything I give you for granted. I sat down across from him. Yesterday, Amanda told me the best gift I could give your family was to disappear forever. And you agreed with her. After everything I've done, everything I've sacrificed, you agreed that I should just go away. She didn't mean it, he said weakly. Yes, she did. And so did you. And you know what? You're going to get exactly what you asked for. He looked up sharply. What does that mean? I smiled, but it wasn't a nice smile. It means you better figure out how to pay for your own life from now on. And it means you better start looking for apartments. Because the house situation is about to get very complicated. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the legal papers you never read before I helped with the down payment. The ones that make me a co-owner of your house. All the color drained from his face. That's right, I said. I own 35% of your house. And I'm about to put it up for sale. Michael stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. You can't own part of our house. We bought it. We live there. With my $87,000 down payment, I reminded him. Did you think that money just disappeared into thin air? But you said it was a gift. You said you wanted to help us. I pulled out my phone and showed him the email from Margaret. My lawyer had different ideas about protecting my investment. Would you like me to read the legal documents? This is impossible. Amanda would have had to sign something. Amanda was supposed to sign something. She kept forgetting. But Margaret kept the papers on file anyway. The bank has me listed as a co-owner. It's completely legal. Michael was shaking now. You planned this. You've been planning this whole thing. Oh, sweetheart. If I'd been planning this, don't you think I would have done it before spending $14,000 on your wedding? That truth seemed to hit him hard. I had just spent all that money on people who told me to disappear. If I'd been scheming, I would have stopped months ago. So what happens now? His voice sounded small and scared. Now you have a choice. You can buy out my 35% share at current market value, or we can sell the house and split the money. We can't afford to buy you out. The house is worth $300,000 now. 35% of that is over $100,000. I know. I'm very good at math. That's why I have money. And you two are always broke. He flinched like I'd slapped him. You're not broke, he protested weakly. We just have a lot of expenses. Michael, you and Amanda make $8,000 per month together. Your mortgage payment alone is $2,400. Add in car payments, credit cards, utilities, groceries, and Amanda's shopping habit. And you're spending more than you make every single month. How do you know all that? Because I've been making up the difference for the past 3 years. Did you think the money fairy was leaving cash under your pillow? Just then, the hotel phone rang. I answered it while Michael sat there trying to process everything. Double quotes, Mrs. Mitchell. This is Jessica from Sunset Gardens Country Club. I have the bride's mother on another line. She's asking if she can pay for the reception and reinstate it. I looked at Michael, who was listening with desperate hope in his eyes. That's very generous of her, Jessica, but I'm afraid that won't work. There are some family issues that make it inappropriate for me to accept payment from other people for an event I chose to cancel. Mom, please, Michael begged. I held up my hand to quiet him. Yes, Jessica, the cancellation stands. And please send my final bill to this hotel. I'll pay for any inconvenience I caused. After hanging up, I turned back to Michael. Amanda's mother was willing to pay $14,000 to save your reception. She's been planning this wedding for months. She invited half her country club. How nice for her. Too bad her daughter couldn't be polite to the person who was originally paying for everything. Michael pulled out his phone. I need to call Amanda. We need to figure out what to do. Go ahead. But Michael, when you talk to your wife, make sure she understands something. He looked up from his phone. I'm not the same woman who left your house last night. That woman was desperate to keep peace at any cost. This woman is done being taken advantage of. You're really going to force us to sell our home. I'm going to exercise my legal rights as a co-owner. What you do with that information is up to you. He left without another word, probably to give Amanda the worst news of her life on what was supposed to be the happiest day. 20 minutes later, my phone rang again. Dorothy. Amanda's voice was almost unrecognizable through her tears. We need to talk. No, sweetie. We really don't. You made it very clear yesterday that talking to me wasn't something you were interested in. I was upset. I was stressed about the wedding. I didn't mean what I said. Of course you were upset. It must be exhausting pretending to tolerate someone you obviously hate. I don't hate you. Amanda, in the 3 years since you moved into the house I bought for you, you've never once thanked me. Not once. You've never asked about my life, my interests, my health. You've never invited me anywhere unless you needed me to babysit or bring food or write a check. That's not true. When's the last time you called just to see how I was doing? Silence. I'll save you the trouble of thinking. Never. You've never called just to check on me. But you're Michael's mother. Your family. Yesterday you told me the best gift I could give this family was to disappear forever. Today you're saying I'm family. Which is it, Amanda? More crying. The desperate kind that used to make me rush over with tissues and hugs. Now it just sounded manipulative. Dorothy, please. I'll do anything. I'll apologize publicly. I'll pay you back. Pay me back with what money? You don't even have a job. I'll get a job. That's a great idea. You should definitely do that. But it doesn't change the current situation with the house. What if we agree to pay you back for everything? All the money you've given us over the years? I almost laughed. Amanda, honey, you owe me $124,000. At minimum wage. It would take you about 6 years to earn that much. And that's if you never spent money on anything else. The silence that followed was the sound of reality finally sinking in. By 4 p.m., they had called 16 more times. I answered exactly none of them. Instead, I was sitting in the hotel restaurant enjoying a lovely late lunch and watching the local news on TV. There was a story about a wedding disaster at Sunset Gardens. Country Club. The reporter didn't mention names, but the video showed Amanda in her wedding dress, crying on the country club steps. It was pretty obvious who it was. Excuse me, aren't you Dorothy Mitchell? I looked up to see a woman about my age with beautiful grey hair and kind eyes. She looked familiar. I'm sorry. Do we know each other? Barbara Worth, Amanda's mother. She pointed to the empty chair. May I sit? This was going to be interesting. Barbara sat down gracefully, like someone who'd handled many crises in her life. I wanted to thank you, she said. That was not what I expected. Thank me? For showing my daughter who she really is. The waitress came and Barbara ordered coffee. I waited to hear what she would say next. I've been worried about Amanda for years, Barbara continued. The way she thinks she deserves everything. The way she treats people she thinks are beneath her. The complete lack of gratitude for anything. I kept hoping marriage would help her grow up. Barbara sipped her coffee before continuing. And now I've seen how she treats the woman who made her whole lifestyle possible. And I'm horrified. I offered to pay for the reception, Barbara explained. Not because I support what Amanda did, but because I felt bad for the 200 guests who had been invited. But you were right to refuse. Was I? My daughter needed to face real consequences for her actions. The kind that can't be fixed with daddy's money or mommy's connections. I studied Barbara carefully. I liked her honesty. She called me hysterical about the house situation, Barbara said. She demanded that I loan them money to buy out your share. And I told her absolutely not. If she wanted to own a house, she should have treated the co-owner with respect. I smiled. I like the way you think. Can I ask you something, Dorothy? What's your end game here? Are you really going to force them to sell? I've been wondering that myself. Honestly, I haven't decided. Part of me wants to see if they can actually learn to support themselves without my money. Part of me wants to sell the house just to teach them a lesson. And another part remembers that Michael is still my son. Despite everything. Barbara nodded. I understand. But may I offer some advice from someone who's been making excuses for her daughter's bad behavior for 39 years? Please, don't save them from this. Whatever you decide about the house, don't cushion their fall. Amanda has never faced real consequences for treating people badly, and it's turned her into someone I barely recognize as my daughter. She pulled out a business card and handed it to me. I'm flying back to California tomorrow. If you ever want to talk to someone who understands what it's like to love an ungrateful child, call me. After Barbara left, I sat alone with my thoughts. The truth was, I hadn't decided what I wanted to do. I'd been reacting and protecting myself, but now I needed to figure out what came next. I had 3 choices. Option 1, the nuclear option forced the sale. Michael and Amanda would have to find an apartment, probably in a much worse neighborhood. They'd finally understand what it meant to live within their means. Option 2. The merciful option offer to sell them my share for less than it's worth, maybe just what I actually put into the house. They'd still struggle, but they might keep their home. Option 3. The spite option hold on to my ownership stake forever, making them pay me part of the property taxes and any improvements. While watching them squirm every month. As I thought about these options, my phone rang. This time it wasn't Michael or Amanda. Double quotes, Mrs. Mitchell. This is Detective Rodriguez with the Virginia Beach Police Department. I'm calling about a report we received about financial elder abuse. My blood went cold. I'm sorry, what? We had a call from someone claiming that family members have been taking advantage of you financially. They said you might be experiencing mental problems. They requested that we check on you. Those sneaky little snakes. When they couldn't manipulate me directly, they tried to use the police. Detective Rodriguez, I can assure you that I'm perfectly fine mentally. In fact, I'm probably thinking more clearly than I have in years. That's good to hear, ma'am. But we do need to follow up on these reports. Would you be available to meet with me tomorrow morning? I looked around the restaurant at all the normal people living their normal lives. I felt a wave of pure anger at what my son and daughter-in-law were trying to do. Absolutely, detective. In fact, I have quite a lot I'd like to tell you about financial abuse. Just not the kind my family reported. Detective Rodriguez was younger than I expected, maybe 40 years old. With smart eyes and a patient way of talking, that probably helped him deal with family arguments. We met at the police station Monday morning. I brought my entire financial file, every bank statement, every check, every record of money I'd given them. Mrs. Mitchell, I want to start by saying that the person who called us seemed genuinely concerned about you. I'm sure they did, I said. My daughter-in-law is very good at sounding concerned when it helps her. I spread my bank statements across his desk. Detective, in the past 3 years, I've given my son and his wife $124,000. Would you like to see the proof? His eyebrows went up as he looked at the papers. Check after check. Wire transfers. Credit card payments made for them. A clear pattern of them depending on me for money. This is a lot of money, he said carefully. It is. And yesterday, when I finally set some rules about how they treat me, they decided I must be mentally ill. I pulled out my phone and played a voicemail Amanda had left at 3 o'clock in the morning. Dorothy, this is crazy behavior. Normal people don't destroy their families' lives over hurt feelings. We're worried about you. Maybe you need to see a doctor. Get some help. Michael thinks you might be having some kind of breakdown. Detective Rodriguez listened and took notes. Has there been any history of mental problems, Mrs. Mitchell? None whatsoever. I handle my own money, take care of myself, drive places. The only thing that changed is that I stopped letting them take advantage of me. I showed him the house documents Margaret had sent. My lawyer can confirm that I'm a legal co-owner of their property. Everything I'm doing is within my rights as an investor protecting her assets. We talked for 20 more minutes. Detective Rodriguez was thorough but fair. By the end, he seemed satisfied that I was mentally fine and financially smart. Mrs. Mitchell, I'm going to close this case as unfounded. But I do want to give you some information about elder financial abuse resources. Just in case. Actually, Detective, I think I have the situation well in hand now. As I drove away from the police station, my phone rang. Michael again. Mom, the police called. They said they're not investigating you anymore. That's because I'm not the one being financially abused in this relationship, sweetheart. What's that supposed to mean? It means you and Amanda have been systematically draining my money for years while giving me nothing but disrespect in return. The detective was very interested in my documentation. A long pause. Are you threatening us? I'm informing you that your manipulation doesn't work anymore. Mum, please. Can we just sit down and talk about this like adults? We can, but not at the house I co-own. And not until Amanda apologizes for real. She's sorry. She's been crying for 2 days. Has she? Because the voicemail she left me at 3 o'clock this morning said she thinks I'm mentally ill. That's not an apology. Another pause. Where do you want to meet? Margaret Chun's law office. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Bring Amanda and bring a realistic plan for how you're going to handle the house situation. A plan? Michael, I own 35% of an asset worth $300,000. That's my retirement security. You either buy me out or we sell. Those are your only options.